Namaste, everyone, and welcome to Anchor Light. And here we are on Monday, starting a new week. Well, Sunday is usually the start of the week. Today we'll talk about something that is quite powerful. The quieter you become, the more you hear. That's by Rumi, the great Persian poet. So, first of all, let's have some backdrop here. Rumi is a spiritual practitioner, but there's two types. We'll just use everyday language. You have the spiritual scientist and you have the spiritual mystic, right? So a spiritual scientist would be someone who is very, very technical, knowing the inner teachings, the inner laws, understanding every little detail about it, like, what is the nature of the soul, what is the nature of existence, how we connected to God, the mechanics. Then you have the mystic. The mystic is one who is not that focused on the mechanics. They're more focused on the experience. And so one is more, let's just say, intellectual. One is more heart-centered, just to make it a little easier to understand. So the mystic would be someone who's very, very keen in experiencing the effects of the mechanics. And Rumi, as we know, is a mystic. So the words he uses are very simple. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. Or the one we shared with you before, you're not a drop. You're not a drop in the ocean. Drop of the ocean is within you. Something to that effect. So that said, we use that more of a springboard. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. So obviously, if you're a spiritual scientist, you can go to the detail. Okay, well, first of all, when it's quiet, you're able to hear more. That's in the physical world. However, when you try to understand it on the mystical sense, what Rumi is saying is the quieter you become, the more you hear the data that's coming in. Well, he wouldn't use the word data. You would hear more the voices of the spiritual world. So let's break it down. The question is, why do you need to be quiet? So in the physical sense, if there's a lot of noise, you won't be able to hear if somebody's trying to talk to you from across the room. That's obvious. So if you quiet it down, you'll be able to hear them. Now, in the energetic or spiritual sense, it's talking about inner noise, something that I've shared with you many, many times. If you've taken the class Achieving Oneness with a Higher Soul, we talk about this. So one of the reasons why we do not hear the voice of God, the voice of our higher soul, our guides, our teachers, is because the aura, which is like a bubble we walk around in, is populated by thoughts and emotions. Now, everybody has them. The question is, what kind of thoughts and emotions? That's one. And the quantity. So, as my teacher, Grandmaster Chokosu, used to always say, truth has to be qualified, like what is it, and quantified, how much. So let's start with quality. What is it? If a person is filled with anger, stress, worries, cares, and concerns, that type of thoughts and emotions right there and then will already obstruct the flow of the information coming down. I just say down from high frequency to low frequency, that the spiritual self, the soul, can hear or comprehend. Number two, the quantity. How much? If a person has a stressful job, it's day in and day out, nonstop, their mantra is thank God it's Friday, right? And Saturday, Sunday is finally they get to settle down. But it doesn't mean that those thoughts and emotions disappear because there's so much of it. Make sense? Now, if you do some form of spiritual practice and meditation, then you're going through some form of cleansing. At the minimum, as you put your attention on non-material things, you put your attention on peace, love, some form of spiritual topic, the quality of the thoughts and emotions that populate your aura is of a higher frequency. And so when spiritual energy comes in, which also contains a lot of its high frequency and vibration, then it's able to work with what's inside your energy field. And of course, it depends on quantity. How often do you do your meditations? How often do you do your prayer time? Will also determine what kind of positive thoughts and emotions you have. Plus, what is your outlook in life? If you look at life is always, against you, then there'll be more negative thoughts and emotions created. If you look at it like, well, everything is a learning experience, we're spiritual beings having an earthly experience, then what happens is, in your everyday life, you create more of the positive, uplifting thoughts. Now let's put the whole thing together. So the quieter you become, the more you hear. So let's break it down. What are you trying to hear? Some of you go, yeah, I want to hear the words of my teacher. I want to hear the words of my guides and my higher soul, and so on and so on. Okay, at the minimum. And this is where we go into more the essence of the soul. Let's go back to the basics. When I have you move your body, what are you doing? I'm moving my body. What's being moved? My body. Who or what is moving it? You go, I am. When I say feel an emotion, feel happiness, anger, joy, whatever emotion, what are you doing? I'm feeling these emotions. Who's doing the feeling thingy? I am. I'm the feeler. The first one is I'm the doer or the actor, right? Moving the body. Second one is I'm the feeler. When I have you think of a thought, anything from an apple to a car to what happened yesterday, what are you doing? I'm thinking of these thoughts. Who's the thinker? I am. So the doer or actor, the feeler, and the thinker is the I am. Who is this I am? I am is the soul, the spiritual self. That's why in Italian, which is the most descriptive one, the soul is called anima, where the word animate comes from. I'm animating my body. So this soul, this spiritual self, is wearing, I'll use the word, 3 garments. A physical body that it moves around the physical world, an emotional body, or what's called the astral body, to move around the emotional world, to be able to connect with people emotionally, a mental body, a mental machine or garment that it uses to communicate with people mentally, create thoughts, ideas, transmit them, receive them, process them, and so on and so on. It's just like you are the puppeteer and you're moving your body around, your emotions, and your thought, 3 bodies in 3 dimensions. Okay? It's just like remote control. Just imagine you're sitting in a room and, okay, I'm moving my physical body in this floor. I'm moving my emotional body in this floor. I'm moving this mental body in this floor. In all 3 cases, you are not the machine you're using to move these 3 different instruments or bodies. It's like moving 3 robots. Now, why is this important? Because in order to understand what noise is, you have to first realize how this noise is generated. So this so-called noise is actually the data that is generated by the body, the emotions, and thoughts. And since most people are not aware that they're not the body, emotions, and thoughts, whatever tendencies the body, the emotions, and thoughts have a tendency to run their life. For example, if for whatever reason your body is not feeling great, or you hurt your back, whatever, that sensation becomes so prominent that becomes the soul's identity. That's why they're constantly focusing on the pain. Hear me out. Well, let's say somebody insulted you yesterday, and you're carrying that anger, that anxiety, that negative feeling from that encounter. What happens? That becomes forefront in your consciousness. So you walk through your day having that hanging on you, and that's the lens you look through the world. So if somebody kind of looks at you funny or didn't greet you, right then and then you already feel, that person doesn't like me. Even though that person has no clue. But that's the thoughts and feelings. That's a feeling that is affecting. And thoughts, of course, a lot of times go with it. What thoughts are going through your mind? Make sense? So the body, the emotions, thought generate this massive data that the soul has to look through. That's what you call your biases. Now, most people, the perception of I is not the real I. The perception of I, not I, but, me, myself, and I, most people's perception of the I is the accumulation of data or experiences of the body, emotions, and thoughts. That's what defines the I. So if you had a good childhood, you had a good life, then your perception of life is, hey, everything is good. If somebody hurt your feelings, or you didn't do so well in a test, and somebody said you're good for nothing and whatever, and they do it enough times and you believed it, you have low self-esteem. Make sense? So that's why most people's perception of I is not true. That's why they suffer. There you go. What's it got to do with listening? Hear me out. This perception of the I, which composes of the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of the body, is what clouds the aura. And that aura is what the soul has to look through every single day. That's why it doesn't have peace. Make sense? Now, I've shared this with you before many, many times. One reason why some people, or a lot of people, always need to have something to grab their attention, like music, people talking to them, whatever. They always have to have some stimuli continuously, even though there's no need for it, right? They feel they need to when they're by themselves. They have to play something because they cannot stand, listen to this, they cannot stand being alone. You know why? Because when they're alone, they're not truly alone. All these thoughts and feelings and sensations now become so strong and prominent, they can't stand it. And since they're not aware that they created these, and these are affecting them, they just automatically let me make something louder and shinier to take my attention away from this inner noise. And if that doesn't work, people drink stuff, they shoot stuff, they smoke stuff, whatever, so that to numb their consciousness and nervous system, which doesn't last, so that, finally have some peace. And then it's disguised as experiencing expanded consciousness. All that is not permanent because you're not fixing the problem. Make sense? And because of that, most people cannot be quiet. All right. Now, let's keep going. So this works in steps. Step 1, you have to peel off this inner noise out of the soul. Once that inner noise is peeled off, finally the soul says, oh, I'm not these thoughts, feelings, and actions. Who am I? Even at that point, most people already experience some level of quiet because you're removing the noise. Make sense? Here's the problem. That's not good enough. Because if you stop there, the best that gets you is like, oh, I have some temporary reprieve from this noise. Then as you go through your life again, talk to people, go through experiences, what happens? Then you start populating the aura again. Make sense? So the next step, which is more critical, is after you empty out the aura and the chakras, which we'll talk about in a minute, you have to raise your frequency. What does that mean? Even though you're in a physical locality, you have to tune your awareness and consciousness to something beyond the body, the emotions, and thoughts, so that even though this noise from the environment comes back in, you will not be clouded by it again, or at least minimally. It's just like the example we always use. You have a perfume, bottle of perfume, liquid. When you remove the cap, what's supposed to be liquid start to vaporize. Vaporize means what? From the liquid, it turns to gas. From its gaseous state, what happens? It starts expanding. Are you hearing so far? So that's a metaphor to say that the soul, once it's not bound by the body, the emotions, and thoughts, starts to experience itself beyond the shell, beyond what it's wearing, the body, the emotions, and thoughts. Then it experiences a wider sense of self. Wider, not just location physically, but also it's a sense of being in a higher dimension. That is your higher soul. So when people say, oh yeah, I want to talk to my higher self, or higher soul, you ask them what I mean. Most people have no clue. They just say, well, there's part of me that knows better. No, it's always been you. So the higher soul encapsulates a part of itself into a physical, emotional, mental shell that is called the incarnated soul, or what most people call the lower self. Make sense? So when you walk around, you talk to people, whatever, it is the incarnated soul, the part of the higher soul that is a shell that is communicating and interacting with the earthly life. Now, the incarnated self that is bottled up in the physical, emotional, mental shell has a tendency to be so influenced by the embodied emotions and thoughts, it forgets it's not the entire self. Because the noise that comes from the body, emotions, and thought clouds it. Make sense? So as we do our meditation and spiritual practice, you'll notice we always start with the I am affirmation that's taught by my teacher, Grandmaster Chokhok Sri. Now, just to reiterate, by myself, I know nothing. Everything I'm sharing with you, I learned from my teacher. Okay? So when we do the I am affirmation, we start with I'm not the body, not the emotion, not the thoughts. I am the soul. The reason we do that is to decouple the soul from the instruments. To say, I'm not the body, not the emotions, thoughts. These are not the I. And most of it, just by doing that, whoa, that quieted down. Then, as you experience some level of quietness, I'm not the body, emotions, thoughts, I'm the soul. It's just like, comes off. As it comes off, it's quiet. But don't be satisfied. It's just like saying, I realize that you have a bottle of perfume, the liquid is not the bottle. So, not good enough. When you remove the cap, then as the liquid vaporizes, then the essence of that perfume is now more expanded. So that's why the next part of the affirmation is, I'm connected in one to my higher soul. In other words, I know I'm not this body, these feelings and thoughts. I know that's not the I. But I also realize, since I'm not this I, there's a part of me that is beyond this. That's why you say, I'm connected in one to my higher soul. That's, for a lot of you, that's why you feel like, I feel some level of freedom. But it's not a separate self. It's the same self. Makes sense? Actually, that's a true self. The one inside the bottle, if you will, the one inside the shell is actually the restricted self. Now listen carefully. When Rumi said, the quieter you become, the more you hear. So the first thing you need to hear is to hear what your higher soul is telling you. And most of us cannot do that most of the time. It's because the incarnated soul, the soul that's in the bottle, is clouded and crowded by the thoughts and feelings. That's the inner noise. But once you remove the inner noise, and you continue raising your frequency, then you get to hear the voice of your higher self, your higher self. By the way, that voice of your higher self or higher soul is what's oftentimes called the voice of silence. When you study spiritual books, the voice of silence. You say, how could silence have a voice? See, you're thinking voice as far as auditory frequencies. You remember in Genesis, and God said, let there be light. It doesn't mean that God has a ginormous microphone and speaker that shoots out physical sound into the universe to create light and the planets. First of all, in outer space, there's no sound. When you watch movies, a ship is coming by, it shot something, things like none of that happens. You know why? There's no atmosphere to transmit sound. Of course, if you have a movie watching Star Wars or Star Trek and things that happen and it's quiet, you're going to go, boring. Make sense? So in a similar manner, when it says the voice of silence, it's not talking about an auditory vibration. It's talking about the information that comes from our higher soul. And the reason most of us cannot hear the voice of our higher soul, the voice of silence, because when that data comes down through our spiritual connection, before our brain and nervous system can register it, it is already blocked and muddied by the inner noise. That's why Rumi said, The quieter you become, the more you hear. So when we empty out all this inner noise in the aura and the chakras, then you get a little more of what the higher soul is talking to you about. Make sense? So when people tell me, oh, my higher soul says this, my higher self says it, I'll go, okay, what is it saying? Well, my higher soul said this, and I'm thinking, I'm almost believing you, but when I look at your life, it's a mess. Emotionally go up and down, you're always angry, upset. I'm going, are you sure you're listening to your higher self? Are you listening to the noise within your aura? Very important. Because there's a certain sequence. And you heard me say this before, and we'll go through it. From chaos and turmoil, which is the noise in the aura, right? And the chakras. From there, you have to go to calmness. See, here's the mistake. A lot of people think they can go from chaos to silence right away. Good luck with that. Unless you're super advanced or somebody hits you in the head, doesn't happen every day. So what happens is from that chaos and turmoil, somehow you have to bring it to some level of calmness. And most people, that's why they use music. That's why they do breathing exercises. Right? When you're breathing, you're stressed out. If you go, okay, let's calm ourselves down, what do? Take a deep breath, take slow deep breath, do the box breathing, whatever breathing. And you notice all those breathing have a certain structure. Inhale how many counts, hold how many counts, exhale how many counts. All of those, including listening to calm music, is to force the soul to put its attention on something that is rhythmic. And when something is rhythmic, what happens? All those chaos starts to slow down, and now the consciousness is now following that rhythm. So it calms you down. Again, for most people, hey, they're thrilled. For you, not good enough. Because from there, you have to go to silence. Make sense? So to go to silence, from rhythm, it's a jump. That's why most people, the general population, they can't handle it. Oh, finally, Saturday, Sunday, some level of calmness. Come Monday, let's do this again. They're missing the link to go from calmness into silence. That's why they had to take a long vacation or holiday. They go pilgrimage, right? In that time, what happens? Since they're not focusing on anything to build up the junk in the aura again, finally, it's peaceful. Peaceful for most people means a little bit of silence in between their thoughts. So the question is, how do you jump or climb from calmness to silence? There are many different ways. I'm not going to waste your time with there's so many different ways. Let's go to the shortest way of doing it. The shortest way of doing it is through a certain type of meditation which will empty out what is the remaining noise in the aura. See, from chaos to calmness, all you're doing is putting the chaos in order. Instead of, it's like, that's it. You're putting it in a certain sequence. That's all. It doesn't get rid of it. So to go from calmness to silence, you have to flush all this data out. And I have a hint for you. Again, let me repeat. Drugs, chemicals, whatever, none of these will do that for you permanently. That's when people say, oh, I went to the Amazon, I went this, I drank this, I shot that. I go, yeah. Is it permanent? No, it was great. Then when I come back, it didn't last long. Exactly the point. Because you did not get rid of all the noise. You did not delete the data. All you did was mask it, numb the heck out of your brain nervous system, and it's the illusion of peace. Make sense? Now, when we do meditation Twin Hearts, believe it or not, something so simple that you and I do in 10, 15 minutes? When you're blessing the earth, this spiritual energy coming down is like a ginormous waterfall, like a fire hose, flushing all this garbage out. That's why you notice by the time you put your hands down, and I have you put your attention on that brilliant light above your head, most of you, it's already quiet. Which takes 3-5 minutes the most? It's the spiritual technology behind it. And once you flush all this garbage out, you don't stop there. Remember, from chaos to calmness, you get to silence. Don't be satisfied. From silence, you have to pierce higher to go to stillness. And that's why we have that visualization or imagining a brilliant light that is to raise your frequency. And then as we chant Om, Amen, Amin, or some holy word, what happens? It just pulls the soul into that high frequency. That's that. And from there, you notice a lot of you go, wow, it's not only quiet and peaceful, it's still. And in only that stillness will you experience true freedom. Because without it, what happens? People get stuck in the lower dimensions. So when Rumi was saying the quieter you become, the more you can hear, it's several steps. Number one, step one is to hear the higher self. From there, as you go deeper in your meditation spiritual practice and do it over and over every day, there's a systematic purification, flushing out all the garbage in the aura, and then you tune in to that silence, extend the silence, it becomes still, then you start experiencing your true self. Now, here's the beautiful thing about it. The more often we do this, the longer that stillness stay within us. So over time, you start noticing that, number one, how come I get less and less triggered by people and circumstances? When before, everything's like, oh my God. Now it's like, okay, that's unpleasant. What do we do about it? You also notice that you don't always have to have anything on, turn on music, this and everything loud, because sometimes you almost experience like, let's turn everything off. I actually enjoy the silence. And in that silence, information comes to me. You see, at that time, you are hearing the voice of your higher soul. That is what you call true intuition. Intuition is data coming from the higher worlds. And for most of us, if you don't do our spiritual practice or some prayer time, what happens? That data is coming in, it's clouded and crowded by the noise. So the more you do your meditation and spiritual practice, the more data can come through. That's where you have real clarity. That's it. So Rumi, being a mystic, didn't go to all these little details because that's the part of a spiritual scientist. He's a spiritual mystic, so he gave you the experience. All we did here was fill in the gaps of the technology to get there. Now, here's the best news of all. Even if you didn't understand a word I said, if you were to do your practice regularly, you will get the effect of flushing out the garbage out of the aura. You'll be able to raise your frequency. You'll be able to experience the expansion. You will still get the benefit. Make sense? That's what mystics do. However, in pranic healing and arhatic yoga, I was always been taught by my teacher, you need both the yang and the yin. The spiritual scientist is what goes into the mechanism, principles, technique, application of the practice. The mystic is to be able to experience that stillness and experience the expansion of consciousness. You need the yang and the yin married together. And that's what we try to do in these short sessions. Let's meditate. Put your hands on your heart. Be aware of your crown. I am that. I am. I'm not the body. I'm not the emotions or the thoughts. I am the soul that generates the movements of the body, generates the feelings and the thoughts. I am that, the soul, the mover, feeler, and thinker. Now be still. I am the soul. Just keep repeating that silently As you put your awareness on your crown, I am the soul, the spiritual self. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, divine power. I am the soul. I am connected in one to my higher soul. I am connected in one to the divine spirit in me. I am a child of God, meaning we're still growing and evolving. We're one with God. That's our true source. I'm one with all. There's only oneness. This is true regardless of the capacity of my brain and nervous system to register this truth. Be still. Now open your hands in blessing. Picture the earth in front of you. We will do the meditation twin hearts as taught to us by my teacher, Grandmaster Twakok Sui. So be aware of your heart, your hands. Imagine beautiful pink light from your heart flowing through your hands and filling up the entire earth. We will use the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Wherever there's hatred within me, outside of me, let me bring forth unconditional love. Where there's injury, let me sow pardon and forgiveness. Where there's doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair, let me sow hope. Just recall people, going through challenging and difficult times in their life with their health, their relationships, even their finances. Picture their life getting better and better. May they be blessed with a new hope and faith and a better life. So be it. Where there's darkness, let me sow light. Darkness is the ignorance of one's true nature, that we're all beings of light. So may all be blessed with spiritual light and spiritual awakening. And where there's sadness, let me sow joy. Be aware of your heart and your hands. Fill the earth with peace, with love, with a spirit of forgiveness, with hope, with faith, with light and lots of joy. So be it. Now be aware of your heart. Take a deep breath. Be aware of your crown. Gently exhale. One more time. Be aware of your heart. Inhale. Be aware of your crown. Exhale. Be aware of your heart. Inhale. Your crown. Exhale. Stay there. Be still. Be aware of your crown. Imagine golden light from your crown flowing down through your hands and blessing the earth again. Bless your family, your home, your relatives and friends, especially the ones going through challenging times. Bless them with this beautiful golden light. Let it spread to your workplace, your city, your country, all the countries of the world. Fill the entire earth with beautiful golden light. And just say, our hearts are one, our souls are one. From the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being on earth be blessed with loving kindness. Bless your family, your friends, and loved ones with loving kindness, especially the ones who are arguing and are in conflict. Bless them with loving kindness. Then, not just love, but kindness. May all be blessed with great joy and happiness, with understanding, harmony, and divine peace. So be it. Blessings be to all. Now, gently be aware of your heart and your crown simultaneously. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Imagine golden light pouring out of our hands, brighter than before, filling up the entire earth. One more time. Be aware of your heart, your crown. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Imagine golden light flowing through our hands, blessing our homes, our workplaces, city, country, all the people in the world. Fill the earth with intense golden light. One more time. Be aware of your heart, your crown. Take a deep breath. Exhale and literally flood the entire earth inside and out with His golden light. From the center of the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may all beings, physical and non-physical, in the higher worlds, middle worlds, even the lower worlds, may all beings in every dimension, every direction be blessed with God's unconditional love and kindness. May all beings be blessed with inner peace, inner healing. May all be healed of any pain, sorrow, or suffering. So be it. Just be still. May all be blessed with understanding, harmony, goodwill, and especially the willingness to do good. So be it. So be it. Now keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth, be still, and just let the golden light flow through you continuously. Now gently lower your hands. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. On your crown, imagine a beautiful golden flame. Like a little candle flame, but super, super bright. Just look at that light. Simultaneously be aware of the love within your heart. Send a stream of love from your heart up to the center of your head. Be still. To your crown. And into that golden flame. Stay there. Just look at that golden flame on top of your head. It's getting brighter and brighter. It's gently lifting off your crown, 1 inch above the crown, 2 inches above the crown, 3 inches above the crown. Just observe it. From your heart, send another stream of love. From your heart up, up, up to your crown and into the golden light. Be still. Your entire awareness and consciousness is in that brilliant light. Just listen. Just the light. Take it higher. Your entire consciousness is merged with that light. Be still. Be aware of the stillness within you. Simultaneously be aware of the light. And just simply let go and let things be. Now. gently, very slowly, very gently and slowly, come back to your physical body. Move your fingers, move your toes. That helps you settle back in your body a little faster. Come back to your body now. Raise your hands in blessing position. First, imagine all the people you love in front of you. Fill them with beautiful golden light. May they be blessed with good health, with happiness, with abundance and prosperity and spirituality. So be it. Bless the entire earth. May every person, every being on earth be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine power. Blessings be to all. So be it. Now be aware of your feet, your hands, and the base of your spine. Project golden light down into the earth. Look down. Let our beloved Mother Earth be blessed with divine light, love, and power. Let our beloved Mother Earth be healed, regenerated, and revitalized. Blessings be to our beloved Mother Earth. So be it. So be it, and so it is. Okay, let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme One, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers. You can pray to whoever you pray to. To my teacher, Master Chokoksui Mahaguji Mailing, thank you in full faith. So be it. Om. Amen. Amin. Tatastu, and so it is. All right, open your eyes. Let's do a quick check. Keep your eyes open. Be still. Observe your thoughts and emotions. How many notice it's super quiet? You actually have to consciously think of something. That's it. So if you do this every single day, your spiritual development will be super accelerated. And we just do our best with Anchor the Light to do it 3 times a week. Well, 6 times a week, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, California time zone, 10 a.m., 6 p.m. But we leave this online, so you can always go back, press a button, and we do the meditation again. You can also study the lecture again, take notes, because I talk a little fast, because I want to jam everything in that time together. Okay? Speaking of which, a quick announcement. On the 5th, let me just do this again for people who don't know. All right? On August 5th, 7th, and 9th, we have 3 sessions, and this is free. Unstoppable Life Force, that's where we take energy and use it for self-healing and healing others. It's basically an introduction to pranic healing, what I've been doing for the last 30-something years. 37 years. And we want to put in a way that if you have loved ones and friends who are not yet into energy and healing, to just kind of give them an introduction, as well as you join us, you can practice self-healing techniques so you can use energy to make your life better, to improve relationships, improve your finances, because everything is linked by one single substance, if you want to call it substance, that's life force. All right? So go to mastercode.org, sign up. It's free. Some of you want to upgrade to be on Zoom so we can communicate directly and also be part of the interaction, Q&A, as well as healing. You're welcome to do so. All right. We'll see you in the next Anchor Light. Namaste, everyone. You all take care, and thank you for allowing me to serve all of you. God bless. See you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.